All right, let's jump on to our next topic, our next bit of clickbait news. And this one was making the rounds the middle and the end of last week, or I guess say this past week.
Fire.
Big time. So Marty Jannetty, one half of the former Rockers with Shawn Michaels. We all know Marty Jannetty. I think anyone who's over the age of 30 knows Marty Jannetty. We grew up. Marty Jannetty was part of one of the most iconic non-wrestling, I guess you would say, TV segments, promos of all time. The barbershop
storylines.
Yeah, storylines when Shawn Michaels super kicked him and threw him through the glass. And
Brutus the Barber Beefcake's barbershop.
Yeah, and then Bobby Brain Heenan called him a coward for running.
For diving into the window.
So, I mean, Marty Jannetty, it's a long history. We all know about Marty Jannetty, just a lot of his problems. And
his past demons.
And now there's a new one that's been uncovered this week. And Richard, you have the details of the latest issues surrounding Marty Jannetty.
Well, Marty Dark Side of the Ring Jannetty apparently came out and claims that he murdered a drug dealer that tried to rape him when he was 13 years old.
Yeah.
And
at a bowling alley.
Made him disappear, he said, originally. And then the next day went on a radio show to clarify what he meant and basically admitted that he hit the man over the head with a brick.
Yeah.
And then because he didn't want his brother to find out, who had just come back from Vietnam, which doesn't make any sense because he thought his brother would kill the guy. But then he just killed the guy.
Exactly.
And dragged the body to
a river,
lake.
Or
a river.
Yeah.
The Chattahoochee River.
Disposed of that one. And disposed of the body. And so Marty's off the deep end.
Yeah,
if you can look at it one of two ways.
Okay.
He either did it, they could find a body, and he will become an episode of Dark Side of the Ring, or Marty is blowing smoke out of his ass again. And if there is any type of police interaction, then he gets in trouble because he made a false statement like that, and they used their hours and time to figure it out.
Yeah, and resources, that all counts for money. So this is not good at all. So a lot to break down here. So with the initial Facebook post that he put out talking about, making a guy disappear. And also, I guess he was also talking about some woman. I don't know if he has a crush on or he's interested in.
It's a girlfriend, apparently. Like he's going through a breakup or something. And I think he was drinking and
he was trying to
sound high. And he basically was like trying to sound threatening.
Yeah, being intimidating. It's like, listen, this is not the first time I made someone disappear. And so, everyone was like, what are you talking about? Like, this is crazy. Did you kill someone? And then, the next day he went on some Boston wrestling show on YouTube and kind of explained it, but he kind of put his foot more in his mouth. And as you said, when he was 13, so I'm guessing it's around 1973, he was working at a bowling alley. He wanted some weed. The guy that was getting the weed from was starting to touch him and fondle him, and he took a brick and hit him with it, and tried to get rid of the body. And it's like, oh my god, didn't want to tell his brother who was coming back from Vietnam, as you said. So it's just one thing I have to know is bad news.
It sounds like something from Step Brothers.
Oh my god, he should have wiped his face in white dog poo or something.
The Catalina wine mixer.
No, but it's I mean, I know we're joking here about it, but I know this could potentially be a really serious situation, but it's we don't know, obviously, what's true, what not. I mean, it's obviously he's going through some stuff, and as you said, we're sure if he's drinking or he's high and he's posting stuff. This is all, allegedly.
I mean, this is also not the first time Marty's taken to social media to say something really out there. He's had a couple others in the past. So.
Wasn't he was thinking about hooking up with some girl that he just wasn't sure was his daughter originally, so he had a DNA test, and luckily found that it's not his daughter, but now he wanted to sleep with her.
But
so,
he posed the question, would it be okay?
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that she's my daughter, but she thinks she is. And it's like, Marty, no!
Oh God! So it's And Tommy, where's he from again? Where in Georgia?
Columbus, Georgia.
So I guess word got to them, and yeah, as Richard, you said, like the police know about it, and I guess they're eventually going to investigate it, but it's not on their top of the priority list. But eventually they'll get to it. But apparently, I guess some other people took the initiative and were kind of investigating. I don't think because Marty said like when he was 13, he saw a report that someone was missing. Well, it's like. Well,
exactly, because that's the thing. Like, if the guy goes missing, like, wouldn't his manager at the bowling alley like wonder who's cleaning the shoes right now, or the apartment or house that he lives at,
or a missing report?
Like, a number of possibilities.
I mean, yes. I know it's 1973, and back then it was a little bit easier to get away with stuff.
His family,
like
his family, his friends, something.
Yeah,
DNA and all.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's the 70s, like you said. That back then it was a lot easier to get away with some stuff. But at the same time, yeah, wouldn't there be like a missing report on this person, all this stuff? And so I guess people were looking it up, and even the river they supposedly took him to was like 10 miles away from the bowling alley. So it doesn't really make sense. So there's a lot of holes in this story.
A 13-year-old's going to drag a grown man's body 10 miles away.
Yeah. So, and listen, we know social media, a lot of people like to use it to vent or post whatever's on their mind and have no filter. And unfortunately, someone like Marty Jannetty, who has personal issues, some demons, maybe, is under the influence of something, starts just, letting the world know what's on his mind and can get himself in deep water. And he is right now. And as you said, Richard, yeah, if they do find a body or something, then obviously, yeah, he's going to be in trouble. If they don't find anything, he still could be in trouble for just creating this nonsense. So nonetheless, it's just another chapter in the very dark and sad story of Marty Jannetty's life. And I mean, I hate to say that, but unfortunately the guy has gone through a lot. He was a big partier back in the 80s and 90s and loved drinking and women, and
he's been fired from WWE 5 or 6 times. So
oh my God.
And he's known to be quite the ribber.
Yeah, it's really sad, like a lot of stuff he's gone through. And I wonder. I was listening to Saul Monster actually talk about it earlier. He was wondering, how like Scott Hall says, like when he accidentally killed that guy in the bar fight when he was a bouncer at the strip club or whatever
in Tampa or whatever.
He says that
he hit him too hard.
Yeah, he had post-traumatic stress, and that's kind of ultimately what led him to drink and do the drugs and go down that downward spiral. Saul Monster brought up a good point. He's wondering if this event with Marty Jannetty kind of was what started the downhill spiral for him, as far as trying to drink and trying to forget about the doing drugs, trying to forget the incident. It's if he really did hurt someone.
But it's also kind of that's an easy out because everyone in the 80s was partying. So
yeah.
It's kind of he's one story and there's all these other people. I mean, I know this was even an issue leading into like 95, 96 because part of the reason Jim Ross convinced McMahon to hire Mick Foley was because Mick Foley was clean. So he didn't drink or do drugs or didn't do a lot of drinking, but he was a good role model for the locker room, and Vince was looking for good role models at the time. So and it worked out for everyone pretty good there.
Have a nice day.
So
yeah. And that's the thing. It's just sad just thinking about Marty Jannetty, just the potential. Apparently, he's a real great worker back in the day, and him and Shawn Michaels, the Rockers, were a fun tag team as baby faces and whatnot. It's sad. Like, I wonder. Okay, first things first, forget about the meme and Dark Side of the Ring. So the memes within the next, like, that same day were going out like, oh, the producers of Dark Side of the Ring cannot wait to do this episode on Marty Jannetty. And so people were just laughing or creating the jokes of like, oh my God, this is writing itself for the next season of Dark Side of the Ring. So unfortunately, yeah, Marty Jannetty he needs help, and hopefully he can kind of get himself cleaned up, very similar to Scott Hall and Jake the Snake have done recently. So I just hope he can get help, and hopefully someone reach out to him. Just it sounds like he needs some family and friends to.
Maybe he needs DDP.
yeah, DDP, maybe if he's available. I know DDP is a busy guy. He's not necessarily like a counselor per se, but hopefully he can offer his services somehow. If someone can help connect the two. But Richard, let me ask you this. It must be hard being Marty Jannetty because of him and Shawn Michaels and how the Rockers, that whole storyline played out. Legendary storyline. But because of it, he is now the butt of jokes when it comes to just tag teams in general. When we're analyzing tag teams, and we always discuss, for fantasy booking, if they eventually break up, this one is the better one, so he's going to be the Shawn Michaels of the two, and then this one, he's not going to have such a good career. He's going to be the Marty Jannetty. He must know that reference and that joke. So I'm guessing
that's just the updated version, because people have been using that kind of reference for a long time. You know, you look at Brett and Neidhart or Hawk and Animal, you always think Hawk was the guy that could have had the singles run. Didn't, but could have. Mm-hmm. Look at Bubba and Devon. Bubba turned out to, every tag team's got one guy that can or has the possibility of standing out. I mean, look at the Street Profits right now. Montez Ford is going to be the next Shawn Michaels.
Dude, he has the charisma, the athleticism. He can be like the next world champion for that company.
And it was also like that for Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just plain examples. But I'm just curious if Marty Jannetty, if he ever opens up, I don't know if he's done a shoot interview already and explains that, but I'm just curious from his perspective, just that frame reference people use in pro wrestling to talk about other tag teams and comparing, okay, which one's the Shawn Michaels, which one's the Marty Jannetty of the two. So, and obviously he's the butt of that joke. So I wonder if that just weighs on him. I would love to know that. But nonetheless, we all just hope Marty Jannetty, gets help, and hopefully no one actually died, and hopefully he could turn his life around. I think he's 60 years old. So still many years ahead of him if he takes care of himself. So yeah, just hope we good things for Marty Jannetty in the near future.